Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Terrace Talk here on the Pink and Channels. Looking ahead to yet another away game for Norwich City. It's been quite a lot of travelling in the last few weeks, and I'm joking with my guests today that Norwich fans will probably be relishing a trip to Coventry, given the various distances involved in the last couple of weeks. But it is a trip to Coventry, who are unbeaten at home. It's worth adding, which is quite the stark contrast with how Norwich City have been playing away. And to preview this game, I'm delighted to welcome Myles Cadden to the show from Sky Blues Fan TV, and it's going to be it's excellent to have him on the show, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game. So Myles, thank you very much for joining me. First and foremost, that is the most impressive backdrop I think of anyone that we've had on the show. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I'm sure you've gone to some effort and expense to put all that together.
Well, thanks for having us on, and thanks for coming on our show earlier. But yeah, I'm in a bar that I've built in my back garden. It's all made from an old sheds decking that I found lying around. People's taking it up out the gardens, and I've just done the whole bar up. And then over the last three years, I've just added to it, and yeah, it's my little place really. And during the summer, me and my wife and everyone comes over, and we just sit outside, or we come in when it gets a bit nippy or raining. And we've got a Nintendo in here. We've got hi-fi. We've got tellies and everything. It's brilliant. I love it. It's just absolutely superb. And the signs from one of our sponsors, Neon Now, and he does Norwich as well. So if you want to get over to neonnow.co.uk, you'll get one of these off them. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And a fantastic plug as well. But that looks brilliant. Let's discuss Coventry then, and the season you've had. I want to go, but not that I want to dig it up for you. But you obviously had the playoff final. It can be difficult for teams, and we see teams struggle off the back of losing playoff finals. And for you guys, I'm sure it was even more painful. Being down to penalties, and yeah, that kind of be like Norwich have had it before in playoff finals, losing in penalties 2002 against Birmingham. So I'm sure there's a lot of Norwich fans who know the feeling. But what has the response been like from you guys as a football club, and what has that transition been like to, I guess, readapting to life in the Championship, and what comes next after a playoff final defeat?
Well, Mark Robbins said after the game at Wembley, he said, we had a plan A and we had a plan B. We've had to go to plan B. So they obviously had players lined up before the season started. I think that they had players lined up, and I've interviewed a couple of players, and we've been told by them that they were lined up last August. So, they were already on the radar. So for us, losing on the way we did, it has upset it quite a bit in a way, because we've lost Hamer, who was key last season. He won us so many points away from home, plus at home in games where we thought we were going to draw or lose, or just come off the back of not even picking up any points. And he won us lots of points last season, especially in the semi-final playoff up at Middlesbrough, and then the one against Huddersfield at home. We were just, it was lingering 0-0, and you're just thinking, oh, something's got to happen. And he just opened it up and scored a goal. So, when you've got a player like that and you lose him, it pretty hurts. And we lost him quite late on in the window as well. And then Vic went. Obviously, everyone knew about Vic with his goals last season, big, strong lad. And but the thing is, we've got a new owner. And fair play to him, he's gone out and he's spent some money. So I think we are the third highest spending team this season in the Championship. How on earth we have become the third highest spending team in the Championship compared with last season? We were the third lowest team spending last season. We signed one player last season on a permanent, that was Casey Palmer. This year we've signed 10 players, all on 4-year contracts, and one player on loan. And two players on loan. I mean, that's just phenomenal for us, absolutely phenomenal. And breaking the transfer window we did with Haji Wright, €8 million, and Ellis Sims, he's coming at about 3 million, and then it could rise to another up to about 7 million, I think, at the end of it. So it's just been mad for Coventry City fans at the moment. Everything's sort of moving in the right direction, and we'd never ever thought this 6-7 years ago. We'd never ever thought that we'd be in a situation where we are spending money on players, because all we've ever done is get free transfers or loans. And Mark Robins has worked wonders with those. And now I think the pressure's on a little bit with him because he's had money to spend. And now they're finding it hard to really gel because we're still trying to find a way to learn how to play without Hamer. We found a way to play without Vic, that's fine, because we've still got Matty Godden, Ellis Sims is slotting in, Hadji Wright's come in. It's the midfield where we are learning to play a new game. And once we learn how to do that, we'll be all right. We'll start clicking. It happened last season when we lost O'Hare on Boxing Day down at Sheffield United. We had to learn how to play without O'Hare. And that's hard because he had high energy, high press up the pitch. And when you lose that, the whole system just goes out of place. So he's coming back very soon. It wouldn't be surprised if he's on the bench Saturday. There are rumours flying around he could be on the bench, but we can't expect too much from him too soon because an ACL injury happened to Jody Jones. He went off to Notts County. He had 3. Jody Jones did 3, and he's doing wonderful at Notts County. But it's been it's just been brilliant, really. I mean, we were that close, but to be honest with you, it's still brilliant. It is absolutely fantastic. We'd never ever have dreamed what we've done in the last 3 years. The last 3 years have just been unbelievable. When we come back into the Championship to now, it's just been unreal. I mean, the worst game last season was against you guys at your place. We turned up. We were down the pub on the bridge, wherever, I can't remember the name of the pub on the bridge. And we got the team news, and he's starting Tyler Walker up front on his own. What? Hey, how did it work this one out? You absolutely annihilated us. Half time, we were gone. It was all over. Forget it. You know what I mean? That was probably our worst performance all last season. But I think we're 10 games in. We can see signs of improvement so far from what we've got. And the best thing, Connor, you can see where we've spent money. The football is some of the football has just been brilliant. Last night wasn't great. We got a point. Well, we got a goal and we won it. 1-0 towards the end. But what you do see week in, week out, you can see them improving every week, and it's getting better and better and better. And you can see the players that we've bought compared with free transfers, it's completely different. And I'd never ever thought I'd ever say it that I'd ever see that again. Because I was there in the 80s with Big Cyril. I was there, late 70s, 79, 80, with Ian Wallace and everyone and Mick Ferguson. And then, the 90s with Dion and Robbie Keane and Unlove and Hadji and all them sort of players that we were spending money on. And then it all went away. It was all got took away. And now we're going like that again. It's coming back. And it's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And I never ever thought I'd ever say it, because where we were, we could have dropped out the leagues. We could have been Notts County. If Notts County had beat us in that semi-final in League Two, we probably would have ended up where Notts County did, to be honest with you. So, that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, for a while, you didn't have a home ground. You mentioned there were financial difficulties. You were in League Two. I can see the smile on your face, and as I say, I work with a Coventry fan, so I know a lot of it. And it's interesting you mentioned Doug King, the new owner, who of course has links to Norfolk. I think he grew up as a Norwich City fan. It must be, even though we mentioned the playoff final defeat. I mean, Coventry City fans must just be on cloud 9 at the moment with how the club's growing and developing, and like you say, culminating in this summer with quite a bit of money spent for Mark Robins.
Yeah, he's invested his own money into the training fields. So all the training pitches have been revamped. He spent £1.5 million on the training facilities, 2 new pitches. We put a brand new pitch in at the CBS. No more rugby on it now, so it is beautiful. It is so nice. You turn up every week now, and it's green, it's flat, it runs smooth. The ball doesn't bobble or things like that. Obviously, time will tell over the winter, but it just looks fantastic. The ground's starting to look like ours. This is all normal stuff, really, for you guys. For Norwich or for Chelsea's or whoever else in the Championship, Leicester and things. This is all normal stuff that we're getting excited about. I mean, we've got a new shop. We got a new shop. Yeah, our shop was about twice the size of this. We got a new mega store now. It's unbelievable. It's brilliant. And in there, they're bringing all like new stuff in and everything. So when you go to a game, before we were going to the shop and all they had was shirts, and you go, "Well, I've already got that." Well, now you go into the shop and you'll walk out with something, which is what you're meant to do, isn't it? You go to the game, you buy something, you put money back into the club, plus your season ticket, whatever you're going to buy. It's all normal stuff. And Doug King, there was a lot of people saying he was a Sisu puppet when he first arrived. They all thought, oh, is it? He's just come to be the front man and things like that. And he's put his money where his mouth is. I mean, he owns a big factory down in Stratford, which is a rapeseed oil factory. He's in with Will King, his brother, with King of Shaves. So that's our advertiser now, King of Shaves. You go to Boots and everywhere and buy all that stuff. And he's put his money where his mouth is. And a lot of people got upset beginning of the season because he upped the season ticket prices. And he went, well, you got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to. We've been charging too less too long, which meant we've been running on a real small budget. He's put the executive boxes up in price. He's put executive seats up in price, and it's all normal stuff really. And what we're celebrating is an everyday football club really should be. It should, but we're getting excited because we haven't had it for 19 years. You know what I mean? We ain't had it for 19 years. Now we're starting to see normal stuff happening. When you come to the ground Saturday, you'll love it because we've got a fans village now outside. So there's all bars outside, up by outside the home end, and you come up and have a beer, and they've got all that going on. So it's all been transformed, and they've got like banners and pictures of Cov City everywhere, and it's just normal stuff that we're getting excited about, but it's starting to feel like home. And the CBS has never, or the old Rico, it's never felt like home, but now it's feeling like home. And the atmosphere is just, well, players that we've spoken to said the atmosphere is just unbelievable. When the new players that have come, they heard from the old players what it's like. And when they stood out on the pitch against Middlesbrough, they've like gone, I never believed you. It's unbelievable, the atmosphere. It is that loud. It's just fantastic. It's just great. It's just normal stuff, everyday stuff, and we're getting excited.
Yeah, well, it's great. Talk to me a little bit about Mark Robins. He's obviously someone that we know well in these parts. What a magnificent job that he's done at Coventry City. I can imagine I can imagine you guys look up to him like deity, don't you? I mean, it's been magnificent for your football club.
Yeah, I mean, every week we sing to him and he claps us, and he always mentions us in his interviews. He always tells us we've got to get behind the team, and when we raise our voices, it raises their game, and they feed off us in the stands, and he's always saying the right things. The only thing I'm worried about is that if you do go for a real bad patch and you sack your manager, you're going to come in for him. But I you know, but I believe he's got a job to do here. I believe he's got a job to do here. He's walked away once before. It didn't work for him. And what he's done since he came in, okay, he won the Checker Trade Trophy, but we got there really sort of before he came in, sort of thing. He came in for the semi-finals against Wickham. Poor old Gareth Ainsworth hates playing against Mark Robins because he's never won a game yet. So we like it, but yeah, but he's since he's come in, we've had a style of football, a brand of football. And someone hit on it last night. He said he sits behind me in the ground, and he says there's no brand of football yet. And I was like, yeah, you're right, because we've had a brand of football since he's come in that he's tried to create. He's tried to obviously play it out from the back. We've got a system, we work out, we then put the press on. When we're off the ball, we put the high press on. And this season, that seems to be not quite there yet. It's coming, but it's not quite there yet. And he has done a wonderful job. And the guy, I don't. Do you know what? I don't think I don't think you could ever sack him at our ground. I don't think you could ever sack him at our club now. He's been there 7 years. It's mad, absolutely mad. And we coming back from Preston last season. Had to take Sky Blue Tavern minibus because they didn't have enough for the bus, enough people for the bus. So I drove the minibus, I said, "Oh, we'll stop in on the way back at services, like, you know." So as we're coming back, Paul's in this services. We all go in, like, get something to drink and everything. Everyone goes off for a little toilet break and that. And as we come out, Mark Robbins is there in the foyer, and we've all stood around him. We've all stood around him, and he's stood there and he's had a picture with us at like 12:30 at night at the service station. You know what I mean? He's there, and he's loving it, absolutely loving it. And we're all, like, all of us on the minibus, we're all having our picture took with him, and that's the kind of guy he is. He's blooming brilliant. You know, he's absolutely brilliant, and he's what he gets out the players is just phenomenal. Really is phenomenal, and he deserves. If he does leave, he deserves a statue. That's for sure. But I think he's got a job to do, and he was that close last season, and I believe he's going to stay until he gets us there, and he will. He'll get us there. He will. I know he will.
Yeah, and what a job it would be if he did. And I'm sure that fire to get you in the Premier League is there, would kind of complete, as you say, complete the journey in many ways. We're obviously going to discuss how you guys have got on this season and look ahead to the game. But we've mentioned Mark Robbins, Doug King as well, very loosely linked to Norfolk. A couple of others as well. Darren Huckabee, you mentioned Dion Dublin earlier. There's lots of links between Norwich and Coventry, aren't there?
Yeah, there is. I think Hooks was there last season, weren't he, when we played you?
Yeah.
Because is he still to do with the coaching there? Is he now?
He's an ambassador at the club. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Darren Huckabee was just great, weren't he? He was just that guy. We say now, and we laugh about it. How much would he be worth now? And with
A lot.
VAR, how many offsides would be given? Because I swear, blind back then, the linesmen weren't quick enough to keep up with him, and that's why they put the flag up, because he was too fast. So how many times would he be offside nowadays with VAR and stuff like that? But yeah, I mean, Darren Huckabee was just absolutely out of this world. I mean, the best goal he ever scored, well, 2 goals actually. He got one against Newcastle on his debut, and then he scored one against Man United, took it virtually from the halfway line and just took everyone on and just put it in the back of the net, which probably is his best ever goal for us, to be honest with you. But I mean, he was just a great character, great player. And then Dion Dublin, well, Dion Dublin. A lot of people are like falling out with Dion Dublin, but I like Dion Dublin because he played for Cov. Okay, he went to Villa, but he weren't the only one that went to Villa from Cov. Lloyd McGrath, who was it? George Boateng went to Villa, things like that. Mick Cooper and all that went to there as well. And, it's just like Dion was great, and he had links with Cambridge as well, didn't he? So he was there, and so yeah, a good lad, old Dion, and I love him on Homes Under the Hammer. I mean, he's great.
What a career transition that is, by the way, from like Premier League striker to Homes Under the Hammer. It's brilliant, isn't it? It's excellent.
Yeah, and now on Channel 4 for the England games.
There you go. Yeah,
it's better than Graham Lasso, isn't it?
Multi-talented, that's for sure. Let's speak about your guys' season so far, because you kind of alluded to it, but has been a little bit of a slow start for you guys. Currently 13th in the championship, 3 wins, 5 draws, which kind of, I guess, points to what you said about the squad not gelling. Only 2 defeats, 16 goals, 12 conceded, unbeaten at home. Does feel like there's probably a lot of positive signs. Do you feel that things are beginning to move in the right direction for Coventry this season, after what's been probably quite a big summer of change, losing probably your 2 best players?
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive transition this season. To sign 11, 12 players coming in is absolutely huge. We were saying this the other night that it reminds me of League One. When we went to League One, we changed the same amount of players, and it took us a year to then get back in the groove. Maybe this year it's going to be similar to that. I don't know. But when you look back at the games, Leicester City, we should never have lost it. We probably worst thing, we should have come away with a point. We probably should have even nicked it, to be honest with you. Cardiff has got to be the worst performance of the season. I didn't go. First game I missed for 2 years, and oh man, it was hard watching it on telly. And with the performance that it was hard. But we're unbeaten at home, which is good, because you think, when you look at the results, the 2 defeats we've had, and you think we're on 14 points, you think, wow, it's not a great start. But then you look at it last season, we were bottom of the league till November, and we hadn't played a home game for nearly a month and a half, every game was away. You know, Millwall was away, and we should have won there, and Hull was away, and we should have won there, and we lost that. We lost the first 3 games because they were on the road and things, you know, because of the pitch situation. Then when we finally got the pitch going, it just wasn't right, and we just weren't clicking and things like that. It just wasn't happening. So it's a better start than last season. And like we were saying earlier, both of us, you know, if we win Saturday, we go above you, and if teams results go our way, we could jump into the playoffs on Saturday. That's how mad it is. But I think this year, realistically, I think this year we're building. It's a building season. If we get into it this year, happy days, you know. But I think this year is a building year, and then we find someone to replace Hamer for next season, sort of thing. But who knows? Who knows? You just don't know what's going to happen. But I think for me, the start of the season's been good. The worst game for me was Cardiff. I think it was awful, absolutely awful. But the rest of the games, we've been unlucky not to have more points, to be honest. And you know, so like I was saying, we're starting. You can see signs of where the money's been spent because of the style of football that we're trying to play. Where before the style of football we had to play, we've had to play it with players that aren't capable of doing it. Where now these players this year, they're capable of playing the football that Mark Robins wants to play, and that's the difference. And you know, as I say, if it happens, it happens. But who would have thought we would have done it last year? But we did. So anything can happen, Connor. Anything can happen. It could even be us against you in the playoff final. You know, you never know, do you?
No, no, certainly not in this division. You can, yeah, I think the worst thing you can do is begin to predict what's going to happen down here. That's for sure. It's got a nasty way of catching you on the chin once you think you've cracked it. That's for sure. How do you see this game this weekend going? Because it's quite interesting. I mean, you said about Coventry's unbeaten home record. Norwich obviously have lost 4 in all competitions on the road. That includes a cup game against Fulham, but they've lost their last 3 away games. What type of football match are you expecting? How do Coventry approach their home games?
Well, we've stuck to the same thing as we have done since since Mark Robins coming, and we play it out from the back, and that's how we look to play it. The thing I'm worried about is our midfield. So we're really short in midfield. So are we going to go to plan B where we try and go over the top and cut out the midfield? Maybe we'll see a different side to Coventry City this weekend because of the lack of midfield. Truthfully, I don't think we will. I think we'll stick to what we know, and he'll just have to make do with what we've got and try and train them between today, wouldn't be doing much today, but tomorrow morning they'll be in, and he'll be trying just to do as much as he can, because you can't do much in these 2 days, can you, when there's such a short gap between the weekend? They've got to have a day of rest and things like that. So I mean, we're going to play it out from the back. We'll try and put the high press on. So if you're trying to play it out from your keeper, we'll try and put the high press to make him make an error, like make an error as he's coming out from the back. So yeah, I mean, I think we will just stick to how we do, and we'll try and get it a little bit wider as well, because we like to get some crosses in at the moment, because we've got Jade De Silva who can cross the ball. Latabodier, bless him, he's coming as a centre back, although he plays centre defensive midfield for Jamaica, and he's slotted out to right back this last 2 games. So, and do you know what? He's done a fantastic job. He's done an absolutely brilliant job. And he's not scared to take a player on either down the line. So, we will look to get it into the box. Matty Godden is lethal if you give him space. He's a bit like when Pookie got it. You give him an inch and he can turn and have a little go. He knows where the goal is. You know what I mean? He just knows where that is. Sims is just finding his feet. Got 2 goals at QPR. Bless him. Took them really well. He's only 22, so he's still learning the game. We interviewed him the other week, and he said he's learned more since he came here than he had in the last 12 months playing at Everton under Mark Robins, because Mark Robins, AD, and Dennis have been teaching him so much. He said, I've learned loads. He said, I've learned absolutely loads. So if he's got his shooting boots on, who knows? And then Hadji Wright popped up last night. Very difficult header to take off the bar. Could have gone anywhere. took it well, and we're waiting for him. He's the man. You know, we're relying on him, I think, to start, you know, really firing, because he's rapid. He's absolutely rapid. And then we got our little loanee in the middle from Brighton, Ayari. He came on. He's he's a little live wire. He can take on a few players. So yeah, it'd be quite good. I think. I think it's going to be like a bit of an entertaining game, because what you were telling us earlier, you play in a similar sort of way. So you know, I think a lot of teams are going that way. When we played Hull the other week, they play exactly the same as us. And it was a fantastic game of football. It was absolutely brilliant. We should have won that, really. And we didn't. But it's, you know, it was such a good game. And I think when both teams play the same sort of football, it turns into a fantastic game, where if you've got one team that sits back and wants to just get on the counter, or want to play the long ball or whatever, it just sort of takes the sting out of the game. It sort of makes it a little bit flat. But I think it'd be all right. I think it'd be pretty good. And yeah, that's how I think that's how we'll set up, just as normal, and we will. And Ben Wilson will just pull off a load of good saves again.
Let's finish then with your prediction and how you see this game going from a Coventry perspective. It's interesting that you mentioned injuries, particularly in midfield. Are you feeling confident? And then just finish off with that prediction as well. Let us know how you think this game's going to go.
And listen, I said to you earlier, I'll go for a 0-0, knowing my luck. It always happens when I'm big up a game. We always end up drawing 0-0. Listen, we're unbeaten at home. I'd like to think we'll carry it on this week. I think that at home we're sort of making it a fortress. I think the fans help it a little bit as well. Attendances are up, so it does get the team on the front foot. The only thing I'm worried about, I am worried a little bit. I'm very worried about the midfield. That's the thing I'm really, really worried about. But I'll go for 0-0. I normally go 1-0 or 2-0, but this weekend I'll stick with a 0-0. 7 points from 3 games going into international break would be a good return, to be honest. You know, but you never know. You could turn up and you could beat us 4-0. Who knows? The Championship's mad. It's mad, isn't it? I think
Yeah.
only 5 teams in the Championship haven't been in the Premier League. You know, so it's just crazy. This year it's just crazy. But yeah, I'll go for a 0-0. I'm going to say that we're going to not get beat.
Good stuff, Myles. It's been fantastic to have you on. Thank you for your insight and some brilliant analysis on where Coventry are. I'm really looking forward to the game. Like you say, I think it could be a potentially really interesting one. As I think the one at your guys' place last year was, in fairness, when Norwich took a pretty commanding start and you guys managed to pull it back and made it a real spectacle. So let's hope for a game like that. And obviously, from my perspective, I hope that Norwich are on the right end of it again. But we shall see. So thank you all very much for watching. You can go and check Myles out on Sky Blue Fans TV. We'll leave all of the relevant links down below. He's been a brilliant guest, as I'm sure you'll agree. And we will see what Saturday brings. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.